We'll review your options to recover some credits, some options for summer, and then what returning to school next week in the summer and in the fall will look like. Before I get started, I want to just do some introductions. I actually don't know, Mr. Hillier, is Mr. De Leon here?
He's not going to be able to join us tonight, only because he has the board meeting that's happening.
Got it. Okay, no worries. So I'm going to start with my own formal introduction. For those of you guys who don't know me, I am Rocio Reyes. I am one of the assistant principals at Richmond High School. Really, really proud to be an Oiler, and I'm here to support you guys and support the counselors. I'm going to pass it on to Mr. Hillier to introduce himself. He'll pass it on to Mr. Hatcher, and then they'll pass it on to Ms. Jan to introduce the counselors.
Hey folks, my name is John Hillier. I'm one of the assistant principals at Richmond High. This is my 4th year working here. Very proud to be an Oiler and excited to be here. So if you ever have any questions, please send it to Ask RHS, or feel free to email us at jhillier@wccusd.net for myself. I know Mr. Hatcher is dealing with a smoke alarm currently, so he stepped away, but I want to hand it over to the counselors, and I'll start with Ms. Jan, if that's all right.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Miss Jan. I'm the College and Career Counselor at Richmond High School. I used to teach social science and run the Multimedia Academy, and this is my 19th year. I'll pass it to Ms. Calderon.
Thank you, Ms. Jan. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Calderon. I am the counselor for the Health, the Internationals, and the Engineering Academy. And I'll pass it to Ms. Rios.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Christina Rios. I am the school counselor for multimedia and law. This is my 5th or 6th year as a school counselor, and my 2nd year at Richmond High. And I will pass it back to Reyes, right?
Yeah. All right, you guys. So you're going to hear a lot more from the counselors in just a little bit, but just to let you know who's here in the room with you, we are here to answer your questions today. The objective is really to give you as much information to feel prepared for your senior year, right? And so where you should be at. So please ask all the questions that you need to feel prepared. And then just a reminder for the folks that just joined us, I'm going to say this in Spanish, but there is an option for translation at the bottom of your screen. If you click on interpretation, if you click on that button, you should hear the presentation in Spanish. Para las familias que acaban de entrar, si necesitan la presentación en español, en su pantalla de abajo hay un círculo que parece un mundo que dice interpretación. Si oprime ahí, debe escuchar la presentación en español. En nuestro lado lo va a escuchar en inglés. Cualquier pregunta, por favor puede poner una pregunta en el chat. If you have a question, please feel free to add it in the chat. We're going to show you this slide again, but just to let you know, there's many, many ways that you can contact your counselors. They are very responsive via email. They all have their phone numbers on here. The bit.ly is how you can make an appointment, like a direct appointment with them. You can request using the form that's on the website to meet with your counselor. And we really just want to stress, please reach out to your counselor. If you have not touched bases with them this year, do not end the year without having a meeting with your counselor, at least seeing where you are with your credit, or at least to say hi so that they know who you are. I will pass it on to the counselors. Like I said, you're going to get a lot of information. We're going to start with some academics, and then we're going to jump into things like what will you need to purchase in your senior year. So Ms. Jan, I'm going to pass.
Thank you, Ms. Reyes. So big thing for you students to do, especially this year, is to review their transcript, because we are on the block schedule. So every report card, you are getting not only grades, but you're also earning credits. So with your 3rd quarter report card, you should have received a new transcript in the mail. If your address is correct in PowerSchool. So if you didn't get your report card and your transcript, you might want to double check with the office that the address we have on file for you is the correct one. And what we gave students this year when we did their choice sheets is this Ed Plan tool that you will see on the right-hand side. And it's a way for the students and the parents to track the classes the students have taken, the credits they've earned, their grades, and if they're how on track they are to finish both the graduation requirements and the college A through G requirements so that they're eligible to apply to a four-year university next year. And if for some reason you don't have your transcript, you lose your transcript, when you log into PowerSchool on a computer, you can actually see your grade history. So when you look as a family at the transcript at the bottom right, there will be a list of different GPAs. And so you want to see where are you on track or what are you eligible for. So for a CSU, the GPA that you want to have is a 2.5 or higher. The UC systems minimum of 3.0. Students who want to graduate with honors, that's a minimum 3.5 GPA in their 10th through 12th weighted GPA. And the GPAs are also worth money. So there's a Cal Grant GPA on the transcript, and the minimum GPA is either a 2.0 or 3.0, depending on the family's income. So we always say to aim to have a 3.0 or higher to make it a little bit easier for you to earn a Cal Grant. And then if a student wants to be eligible to play sports in college, that minimum GPA for the NCAA is a 2.3. And the students all have their Ed Plan, a copy of it for them in the Advisory Google Classroom. So you will hear us referencing Advisory Google Classroom a lot. And we will have the link in case your student isn't in the Advisory Google Classroom for that year, but it's a really important place to go because if you came in earlier, you heard Ms. Reyes asking me, did you post the reminder? So I post announcements, events, scholarships, deadlines, all in the Advisory Google Classroom. And with that, I'll pass it on to Ms. Calderon.
Thank you, Ms. Jan. Hi, everyone. So could we please change the slide to the next one? Thank you. So what I'm going to be presenting is going to be information from the counseling department to you. And this is just important information for you guys to know. So one of the things that we're going to be talking about is going to be transcripts, how many credits your student should be at right now, credit recovery options, summer school, as well as a sheet so students can choose their classes for next year. So I'm going to put the transcripts. So as I was mentioned earlier, we did mail home a copy of your student's most recent transcript with their quarter 3 progress report card. And so that transcript goes ahead and gives you the most recent number of credits that your student has earned in what specific areas they have earned those credits in. So please be on the lookout for that. The other thing is how many credits should your student have so far right now. As of right now, your juniors should be at 165 credits in order to be on track for graduation. So if you can see on the part the little box that says 11th grade, it has the 165 highlighted. Students typically have the opportunity to earn between 180 and 195 if they pass all of their classes since 9th grade. But 165 is the number that we're looking at to really make sure that they are on track for graduation. And then, let me see. So for those students that were that are below the 165 credit that they need, counselors, I know that Ms. Rios, and I know for also myself, we have been contacting students via email, letting them know that they are below that 165 number and that we would like to meet with them to go over some type of credit recovery plan and to kind of just go over how they can go ahead and get to that number that they need so they can be on track. So if your student, so that would be something to also ask your student or remind your student to go ahead and check their email. That has been one of the things that is more helpful, is that that's the way we are communicating with students this year more frequently. It's through email. And so next one, it's credit recovery. So when we think of, there are different credit recovery options. Edgenuity, which is the one that I'm going to talk about, that is an online program. It's completely online. The student has access to this program 24/7. They can work on it whenever they have time. So it's an asynchronous online credit recovery program. A student can go ahead and request for their counselor to put them in a Edgenuity class by filling out the link form that we have, a Google form, and we'll go ahead and we'll post the link in the chat as well. Students get notified that they have been enrolled in the class via email. Students that have been enrolled, because the counselors have seen that they need credit recovery, we also go ahead and email them, letting them know that they got enrolled, and we also do all calls to all the students that are currently enrolled to remind them to continue to complete their credits. And so for the 9 to 11 grade students, their deadline, it's June 10th, so they have until the end of the school year to go ahead and finish these Edgenuity courses. So the next one that I'm going to go ahead and discuss is going to be Shoesheet. We do have a number of students that, juniors that still have not turned in their Shoesheet. So the Shoesheet is important because it allows the student to go ahead and choose some of their classes for next year. If a student doesn't go ahead and turn in that Shoesheet, what that means is that the counselors will go ahead and just choose the classes that are available. And they might not necessarily be classes that your student would want. So that's why we highly encourage students to go ahead and submit their Shoesheet if they haven't already. And lastly, summer school, we will be having summer school this year. And so if you or your student is interested in attending summer school, or if they got a letter from the counselor saying that they need credit recovery, then summer school would be one of those options that they can go ahead and earn credits. If a student does stay focused in their classes, they can earn up to 10 credits during summer school. And we will go ahead and put the link on the chat as well. And students can also go ahead and email us if they have any questions. Thank you.
All right, so overview of what you need to know for your senior year. So make sure you're checking your school email for students to check their school email on a daily basis. There are all kinds of emails coming from our school counselors, teachers, and Google Advisory, or the classroom, the advisory Google Classroom about upcoming workshops. And for 12th grade year, during 12th grade year, counselors meet with their students during September to November to review credits and make sure you have your requirements to graduate, and also go to, or if you're going to for your college or A through G requirements, we'll be reviewing those with every student individually. This year we did it via Zoom. And if you haven't met your counselor by the end of November, please make sure to reach out to your counselor. Next slide, please.
Yeah, and I really want to stress, what Ms. Rio said here. It's going to be really important your senior year to check your school email, to check that Google Classroom advisory, because I know Ms. Jan, for the seniors, she's constantly sending out scholarship opportunities, deadlines for college applications. So it's really important that you're checking your school email, even more, starting from the beginning. You should be in the habit now. I know there was a question in the chat around how are the counselors communicating with parents? I would say we probably need to do a better job of emailing parents, but most of these documents we send home and do all calls for. So for students who do Edgenuity, we do type up a letter, we send that letter home. The senior evaluations, we always make a copy and send those letters home. For parents, during your senior year, you're probably going to get many senior evaluation notices every quarter of just how you're doing with your credits. So that is one of the main forms that we do is paper mail home. So it's really important that you also have accurate like phone numbers and addresses so that you're making sure that you're getting that information from us.
Yes, please make sure you're updating on PowerSchool, all of your information. That's how we connect with parents. That's how we make the phone calls. We'll make sure that we're checking in when it's very, very urgent or important that the parent needs to know. If a student is very behind in credits, that they're aware that their student may need to earn or retake courses or even go to Greenwood or some other alternative education. So as for
Really quick, Ms. Rios, can I just add to that for that question?
Go ahead.
And parents, don't necessarily wait for the counselors to reach out to you. If you have a question, please reach out to us. The hard part is with Ms. Calderon and Ms. Rios, they each have over 700 kids that they're having to manage. And technically I'm the college and career counselor for the whole school. So sometimes we do miss things, unfortunately, because the caseloads are so bad that might fall through the cracks. But please, if there's a question or an issue, reach out to us, whether it's a phone call or an email. If you're on social media, I'm the one that runs the College and Career Center Instagram and Facebook page. So please reach out to us because it's really hard. We're hoping counselor caseloads get better in the next year or so. But it would be a big help for us, and we really do appreciate when parents actually reach out to us.
Thank you, Ms. Jen, for that. And also make sure you're checking your students' PowerSchool to check their grades. Teachers tend to reach out to the parents, and also just check your PowerSchool consistently for attendance, for any grades that may be or the student may be receiving, and then also the assignments. The counselors can check in with the teachers, but we can only do so much. It's up to the student and the parent to really help out with their students earning their grades and receiving their credits, right? For an A, B, C, or D. So I'm just going to briefly go over the senior F notices. So when you're a senior, you're going to receive, well, you shouldn't receive an F notice. I hope not. But if you have an F notice, it's important to note that your teacher will be talking to you, and you are to pretty much check in with the teacher and see what you can do to raise your grade before you actually fail the class. So
yeah, it's a notice
that
we only do for seniors, second semester, if you are at risk of failing a class that you need for graduation.
Perfect.
Right? So if you are at risk of getting an F, right, for us, that's a red flag. And so teachers are required to formally inform you that you might fail a class that you need, right? But they inform you a couple of weeks and ideally like at least a month or two before the grades are due at the end of the year, so that you have time to come up with a plan with the teacher to make up the grade. So you might hear this term from teachers. It's a really sort of serious situation, second semester, but ideally you're not in that situation so that you're not stressed out. Instead, you're enjoying your second semester of your. Ms. Rios, do you want to cover the last two?
Oh, sorry, I thought it cut out. I thought it was my internet, sorry. So typically if you failed a class that you need for June graduation, you will have to go to summer school and graduate in July with the rest of the district. So that's what we are trying to avoid with by giving seniors for the teachers to give senior F notices, so that doesn't happen, right? And then I'll go over really quick for the grades. If you are coming from another school, if you have taken courses at a local community college that are not on your transcript, please make sure that the count.
Oh, she might have cut out. Let me, I'll finish her slide for her. And so, yeah,
And
it's
have
really
grades.
important. We want to make sure that your transcript is up to date and that all your credits that you have earned are reflected on your transcript. It's really important because your college application process starts at the beginning of the school year. So if you have taken classes at TC, if you plan to take classes at TC, if you're coming from another country and we don't have your transcript or your grades from that other country or your previous school, you want to make sure you get all of that in this year, just so that you don't have to stress about it and look for those grades or report cards at the beginning of the school year. You want to know where you stand at the beginning of their senior year.
Thank you. It looks like my internet's very unstable right now. And then if your student is interested in taking any classes at our local community college, if your student takes a 3-unit college class, it's equivalent to 10 high school credits. They usually just need permission from a counselor or administrator for the student to take a class. And there's an upcoming workshop on April 28th. Next slide, please. There's a flyer. So we will be holding a concurrent enrollment workshop that is a 2-part. So they have to attend these 2 days. The first day will be Tuesday, April 28th. Then the second day will be Wednesday, May 5th at 3:30. So make sure your student registers for this workshop. And students will need their social security number if they happen to have one. And then the Zoom link will be sent to the student's school email address. So make sure your student registers.
And we do want to encourage all juniors. You should take a class at TC, especially if you're planning on applying for a 4-year college or attending a community college right after high school. It's a great way to get some experience of what a college class really feels like. So we encourage all our, and there's some really fun classes that you can take that we don't teach at Richmond High School. So things like culinary, right? They have an awesome automotive program. So there are a lot of things that can cater to your interest. Before we talk about money for senior year, I actually just want to pause because we went over a lot of information about academics, right? And we are going to talk a little bit more of how to like specifically plan for preparing to apply for colleges in just a second. But I want to just take about to see if you have any questions. You can add them in the chat or you can unmute yourself. And don't be shy. Like I said, this information is to help you feel ready. So if you have a question, we want to make sure that we can answer that for you today. All right. Well, if a question comes up, please make sure to add it in the chat. You can add the question in Spanish if you would like. Si gustaría, puede poner la pregunta en español. Y si alguien acaba de llegar y necesita traducción en español, puede oprimir donde dice interpretation. Debajo de su pantalla hay como un mundo y dice interpretation. Ahí puede oprimir para traducción.
All right, I guess that's me. I just want to echo what Ms. Reyes and what our counselors have also said, which is it's our job to help you navigate this. So even if your question is, I don't know where to start, that's on us to help you navigate that. So you can start from there too. So for next year, I can talk about the fun stuff. So we're just saying senior year it's important for it to be special. It's important for it to be able to recognize all the work that your students have done over the years. So we're asking to be mindful about preparing, that there are some costs to it, And we're willing to work with families on ways to manage that. But things to be aware of include senior portraits. We want, to capture this moment. Our cap and gown, which is, you can rent, you can also purchase. There's options there. We also have events like prom, dances. We're looking at what that might be for next year. We also have working on building out senior due cards, which might include everything in the package that we're talking about here. So that's an option as well. And we will have more information coming out now. Of course, we have yearbook, and seniors always want their yearbook, something that, they keep for a long time. And of course, college application fees, if you do not qualify for a fee waiver, just in case. And I will open that up to Ms. Jan if you want to add anything to that as well.
So if students qualify for a fee waiver, it's awesome. You get 4 TUA UC campuses, 4 CSU campuses, and then private and out of states. But if you don't qualify, it's not so awesome, because the UCs and the CSUs, the price is actually the same now. It's $70 per application per campus. So it can, if you're going to apply to 4, that's $280 just for one system. We do have, for kids who don't qualify for the CSU, so this would be the Cal States like San Francisco State, Sonoma, Sacramento, San Diego State, Cal Poly. I have a donor who donates money to provide CSU application fee scholarships. So that will help you that way, but I don't have a donor that pays for UCs. So it's just something to keep in mind, and also why we tell kids to make sure you have a good list of schools you have a good shot of getting into, so you don't throw away your money.
And I had a good question, which was, what is a senior due card? A senior due card is a way for us to put together all the expenses, that can happen over senior year. Includes cap and gown, prom, senior events, dances, athletics, yearbook, and it puts it into a one price, which you pay at the beginning of the year. And then once you have that senior due card, you're good for all the events. So we're working on that right now. We don't have a price for that now, but we will have that out as soon as possible.
Do you want me to just click all of them, Ms. Jan?
Yeah, this is imported from a classroom presentation, so I usually go one by one. I forgot to take the animations off, sorry. But I would say the other thing with a senior dues card, like when you guys see the price, you might be like, wow, that's a lot of money, because it's going to be a couple $100 at least. But they usually, you can arrange with the cashier, Vanessa, a payment plan, so you don't have to pay it all at once. You can separate it out. Ms. Reyes, can you keep going, because there's a whole community college side on the other. Thank you. One more. So we want to talk timeline to get you guys ready, because once senior year starts, we kind of hit the ground running, and there's a lot of things going on all at the same time. You have to do your schoolwork. You might be on a sports team where you have practices and games pulling away some of your time. And then you have to figure out how to apply to college and when you have to do it. And you want to make sure you meet the deadlines, because if you miss the deadline, the colleges just stop taking applications and you're going to have to change your plan. So if you are planning, or if your student is planning to apply to a CSU, a Cal State, the application opens October 1st and it's due November 30th. And then the support program at the CSU is called EOP. The application due date varies by campus, and it can be anywhere between November 30th and March. The UC application, so if your student is bored of summer and they're applying to UCs, they actually can start their application August 1st, and that's due November 30th. If your student's planning privates out of state or at a historically Black college or university, also known as HBCUs, those dates all vary and usually range from November to March. So that's where your student needs to do the work and try to figure out what all the different deadlines are if they're applying to privates, out of states, or HBCUs. And then we host our Cash for College financial aid workshop in December. It's where one night I have over 20 volunteers coming to help families with the financial aid application, whether it's the FAFSA or the California Dream Act application. And then that application is due March 2nd. And four-year university admissions decisions are released and students are notified between December and April. And then May 1st is the big deadline of when seniors, if they are going to go to a four-year university, they have to commit and submit their statement of intent to register by May 1st. And sometimes that also includes a deposit to save their spots. Community college transfer, the community college route, whether it's because a student wants to transfer to a university or do one of the trade programs like electricity, welding, cosmetology, automotive, culinary, they actually don't have so much to worry about in the beginning of the school year until we do financial aid in December. Same date, same workshop for them, same deadline. And then their application period will start in February. So in February, they will do their application for the community college that they are choosing to go to. And then between March through May, they'll have a checklist of things they have to do. And this is specifically for CC, this checklist, which is complete their orientation, complete their English and math assessment, attend an event called Comet Day, where they get to learn more about the resources available to help them, complete the Counseling 108 class and their education plan, and then register for classes. So those are the two different timelines depending on the pathway. So what's nice about this, like I always tell the kids, if you're eligible to a four-year apply, see where you get in, see what your financial aid package looks like. And if something doesn't work for you or you don't really want to go, we can still apply for community college. But if they choose not to apply for the universities in the fall and then decide in April that they want to go to a four-year university, they can no longer apply to CSUs and UCs. So we want everybody that's eligible to apply in the fall and then make the choice in the spring about where they actually want to go. And with that, we're going to move to the next slide. And I'm passing it, I believe, to Ms. Calderon.
Thank you, Ms. Jan. So we actually reviewed some of the stuff from this slide earlier. I know Ms. Reyes went ahead and talked about community college classes taken during the summer. So at this point, I think some of the questions are, what should I do from now until August when school starts again and I officially become a senior? But there's a couple of things that students can do. One of the obviously most important ones is review your transcript with your student, make sure that they are where they're supposed to be in terms of their credit, to meet with a counselor if you have some questions or some concerns. So that is one of the most important ones. It's also a very good opportunity for later on to go ahead and do maybe like a summer job or a volunteer experience, whether it's in the summer or whether they're doing it now. And that is just so they can go ahead and start adding this information for college purposes or scholarship purposes. That sometimes they do require for students to be involved or to have some type of extracurricular activity. Another thing is basic potential college campuses that your student might be interested in or in applying or going. And the reason for that is because sometimes what students will do is that they will apply to campuses that they have never been to. And then, they apply, they get in and they don't really feel like that's a good fit. So it's really important to go ahead and encourage students to go ahead and do these campus tours. tours, sorry. I know that right now, because of the pandemic, as well as last year, we couldn't do that a lot. A lot of these campuses do offer virtual tours, so students can actually do it, online. Hopefully, if the pandemic, recedes, we'll go ahead and students will have opportunity to go ahead and, visit college campuses in person. Another one is to have students start building an academic resume. So what the academic resume is for, it's like I said, they're going to be using all of that to apply to scholarship opportunities, to college campuses, when they start doing their applications. And it's also, so basically what that is, they start to list the honors that they have earned, the awards that they have earned, extracurricular activities that they have participated in the last 3 or so years, any community service, any work experience they've had. So they start listing all of this information. So by the time that their senior year comes and they start doing all of this, whether it's the applications or the scholarships, they'll have that information already ready in there, instead of trying to, think of what they have been doing. Another really important piece is the letters of recommendation. Letters of recommendation are needed for college applications as well as scholarships or getting into a specific academic program. And so one of the biggest things that we usually tend to have with students is that they will wait last minute to ask a teacher or a counselor or a staff member for a letter of recommendation. And sometimes that doesn't really work well in their favor. So it's a really good opportunity for students to go ahead and start thinking about a group of people, maybe three people, three teachers, community members, people that can, talk about their character, about, what they have done. And start reaching out to them and letting them know that they would like them to eventually be a recommender. So we usually tell students to give the recommenders an ample amount of time so then that person can do a good job, writing a recommendation letter on their behalf.
Can I just add,
Sure.
Ms. Calderon, a suggestion that I have for the juniors is that if you feel like you did really well in a class this year, or like had a really, like you feel like you overcame a challenge, or you were part of a program, like ask for the letter now. Don't wait for next year, right? So that teacher or that program director, or if you did an internship, can remember what they should write about you. So ask them now. Don't wait until your senior year.
Thank you, Ms. Reyes. And then, of course, the last one was something that Ms. Reyes mentioned earlier, the community college course. I highly suggest it, like Ms. Reyes mentioned, it is a good opportunity to kind of get an idea of what college works like and, what it is to be among college students. And also, it gives you a way for you to explore, like she said, different classes that maybe we don't have available. A lot of my students like the culinary class. Some of them, enjoy other particular classes that we don't necessarily offer. And so that's also another thing that you guys could do. Thank you. And I'll pass it on to Ms. Jan, I think.
Hello, it's me again. I get to talk so much today. So what we did is, those were general things, and then we made a list of specific things depending if your student is getting ready for a four-year university or a community college or vocational program. So the one that's related to creating a resume is kids. When you apply to college, some of them ask you, what activities have you done over the last 4 years? And they forget things, and we're constantly saying, hey, did you put this? Hey, did you put that? So one good thing to do is either to create or update what we call your brag sheet and or your resume. And that's also good to give to your recommenders to help them write a more well-rounded letter for you. Also develop a list of 10 to 15 colleges that students are interested in, right? Because you want to make sure wherever you apply that you are interested in maybe going there. And then if possible, visit some of those campuses on that list. Technically, they are not having official campus tours right now because of the pandemic, but you can, if you're wearing a mask, go drive the 45 miles or so to UC Davis and walk around the campus and give yourself a self-guided tour. As a UCSB alumni, a lot of the alumni have actually been going down to UCSB and walking around campus. No one is going to stop you as long as you're following mask protocol from walking around the campuses, a lot of the campuses right now. So that's a big thing. And then the other thing is stay open to all possibilities. Students often change their minds, and at one point they think these are their set schools, and then they hear something else, and then that changes to that, or this is the major I want, but then something else piques their interest. And it's okay, like, to change their mind. Some of them get really scared to tell one of the adults on campus that they changed their mind. But we want them to be able to tell us that they changed their mind so we can help support them and walk them through the new path that they're gonna choose to go on. Also start gathering documents for financial aid. So this is gonna be your tax returns. I know the tax deadline that is supposed to be tomorrow got pushed back. But when you get those taxes done, your student's gonna need them to do their financial aid during their senior year. So put it in a safe place that everybody remembers where it is. We've talked about letters of recommendations, and then look for and apply to scholarships. There's not really too many full free rides to colleges anymore. It's a lot of the students, they don't pay anything for college, but what they do is they'll win $1,000 here, $3,000 here. We just had a kid win a $5,000 scholarship a couple weeks ago, right? And they put it all together to equal the total price tag. Attend info sessions and college fairs. So the College and Career Center, between myself and all the programs we partner with, constantly have info sessions with college representatives coming in, talking about the schools. Kids can ask questions. Right now, there's lots of virtual college fairs where you can meet and talk to college representatives from across the country and sometimes internationally. And then last thing is retake any necessary D or F grades in your A through G classes. So whether it's through summer school or Edgenuity or repeating the class during your senior year or taking it at the community college.
And just for families, when we say A through G, we're talking about the required classes to apply to a four-year university.
Next slide. The community college or vocational path. I'll go back one, please. Is also develop your list of schools that are interested to your vocational programs. The kids mostly know about CCC, but depending on which trade or vocational program you might want to go to, it might not be at CC. So the way the community colleges are organized, they're in districts, similar to like school districts. So for example, automotive, so CCC has sister colleges, Los Medanos and Diablo Valley College. So if I want to do welding, it's not at CCC, it's at Los Medanos College, right? And then same thing with the Berkeley City Laney College, that system, the Peralta system. If I want to do electrical or electrician, I have to go to Laney because that's the only one that has it of those. But if I want to do welding, it's there. But if I want to do auto, it's either I have to go to the College of Alameda or Contra Costa College. So it's important for them based on what their interest is to make sure that they know which community college offers that program. Same with, and then these are all the similar, right? So stay open to your changing your mind and possibilities, get the financial documents ready for financial aid applications, consider taking a concurrent enrollment class to see if that vocational trade is really what you want. Like you might think you love cooking at home, but then you go take the culinary class and it's a very different way than just putting together something in your kitchen, right? So take classes to see if that's really what you want, and then apply to scholarships and attend fairs to figure it all out. And then with that, I'm going to pass it over to the College and Career Center staff that has joined us today. I'm lucky as I have a pretty robust team. And I'm going to pass it to Alejandro and Sergio for the next few slides.
And before they just start, I just want to reiterate what Mr. Hillier said, that this is a lot of things that you're going to need to do to apply for colleges. but this is why we want to introduce the college and career team, because they're all here to help you with that, right? So yes, our counselors have a lot of students that they deal with, but our college and career team, our advisors really support the college application process. And each program is different. They provide different services, but it's really good if you're not part of a college program that you join one. It's not too late. Go for it, Alejandro.
Thank you, Ms. Reyes. Good evening, parents, guardians, and students. Thank you for being here today. My name is Alejandro Gonzalez. I'm a counseling intern, and I am one of the members of the college and career team. I'll go ahead and let my team members that are virtually present to introduce themselves.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sergio Orizaga, and I am the advisor for PACT here at Richmond High. This is my first year here, and I work with students to help them develop their future career paths, whether that's going to attend a four-year university, community college, or really any kind of post-secondary career choice that they choose.
Thank you, Sergio. The other members that make up the college and career team include Ms. Jan, as mentioned, Angelica Arriaga from Colleges Rio, Edith Vargas from EAOP, Tanzania Jimerson from Upward Bound Berkeley, Hazel Mina, also from Upward Bound Berkeley, Jennifer Guevara from Upward Bound Mills, and Miguel Molina from Richmond Promise. Next slide, please. Among these services that the College and Career Center offers include college planning and advising, career exploration, workshops year-round throughout the school year. We also support students with the college applications and their personal statement, as well as financial aid application, whether it be the FAFSA or the DREAM Act. We also have offer or list of scholarships in our scholarship binder. And as mentioned earlier, in our Google advisory classroom, we have a calendar with important dates and upcoming events. We also support students with community college concurrent enrollment, with work permits, and much more. So among our college and programs at Richmond High School include one goal. Students must have a minimum of a 2.3 GPA and are invited to the program in the spring of 10th grade. It is a 3-year program, meaning that they start in the 11th grade throughout the first year of their post-secondary pathway. Also, there's a Rising Scholars. Rising Scholars is for male students of color who have a desire to go to college. They must attend bi-monthly sessions with a counselor and can participate in activities and college and career themed trips. And also another requirement for Rising Scholars is that parents have a monthly Saturday meeting. The other programs that make up the College and Career Center is Colleges Rio, EAOP, the East Bay Consortium, PACT Inc., Upward Bound Berkeley, Upward Bound Mills. And all these programs are currently accepting applications. So please, students, don't forget to turn in your program interest sheet that was shared to you in your Google Advisory classroom. Next slide. And I'll go ahead and pass it down to Sergio.
Thank you, Alejandro. Yes, so if you are not in a college program yet, the College and Career Center will be having a College and Career Center Family Night on Wednesday, April 28th. So exactly 2 weeks from today. It's going to be at 6:30 through Zoom. As you can see there, there's a link for the event. And basically what this event will be is that the 6 different programs will be going over what it is that we do, the different services that we offer for the students, how exactly we help them. And really, just to give you guys a little sense of what we are, is that basically we understand that, you know, like, especially your senior year, as you're applying to college, you have a lot of things on your plate, and you need to have like a point of reference for somebody who you can trust and guide you through the process. So really what we are is that we're pretty much here to sort of build a sense of community for students, knowing that you can come to us so we can help you out when it comes to your senior year, whether it's if you're applying to college, whether it be a 4-year, whether you're going to community college, if you're thinking about transferring, or if you're thinking about any really career path that you may choose, even if it's not college related. So the college, like I said, the College and Career Center, we're having an event. I believe there will be a postcard mailed out to you guys soon, if not already. And basically you guys can come on here, you'll be able to meet all the different advisors, learn about the different services we offer, how exactly it is we're a bit different. We offer sometimes different benefits as well. And yeah, if you guys are interested, if you're not yet in a college program or you want to learn about the different ones we have, go ahead and check us out. And as well, we do have a couple more events here where we'll be, where the College and Career Center will be showing who they are. As you guys can see here, the first event is going to be this Friday. The College and Career Center will be a part of Coffee with the Principal, where it looks like we'll be mainly talking about for current seniors, things for seniors, such as discussing post action items for university and community colleges. But if you guys are interested in learning more about that, go ahead and join us out. And as well, the college program CIR is having a parent cafecito night where you guys can go in. It's going to be a Zoom event as well. And there will be basically answering questions that students might have in regards to college.
Okay, I'm back on deck. So yeah, the events this Friday and next Wednesday are geared towards seniors, but we also invite you if you guys want to get a head start in understanding it. So you're more aware, come a year from now, you're more than welcome. And also at the cafecito, they will be having parents of current college students that are Richmond High alumni there, so you can hear the parent perspective of supporting your student. So for the juniors, a big piece and one of the stressful things that they have to do is write their personal statements or their personal insight questions for their college applications. So we are going to have a personal statement workshop on May 14th. We will be posting the sign up process in Advisory Google Classroom for students to join us. Next slide, please. The other thing we are doing, we are piloting a junior or rising senior college camp as part of the Summer Bridge program, where juniors will be invited to come join us in person to start creating their college list, all these things we talked about, creating your college list, reviewing your transcript, getting ready to apply to college. We are gonna prep them over 2 weeks, so come August, they're ready to go. We will be inviting people. Priority is going to be given to students not in a program. And if you have specific questions about the program before the invitations go out, you can contact Alejandro. And next slide. And then the city of San Pablo has a youth commission where if you are a San Pablo resident and you can have a voice with what is going on in your city. And they are looking for more members of the youth to join the commission. And it's also good for your resume. So this is the contact information and also the Advisory Google Classroom link. We are active on social media, both Facebook and Instagram. We have an email address you can contact us at, and you can always make an appointment with me. Or if you want to talk to a specific program, you can send me an email and I can pass along your message to them. And then back to you, Ms. Reyes, I think.
Yeah, and so just speaking about the different ways that we'll communicate with you, you can also check out our website. Our website has the most up-to-date information and has a calendar of all the upcoming events. The last thing I wanted to talk about with everyone and just talk about check-in is returning to school, right? And so you're probably hearing about returning to school in spring. We are providing a limited space to some students that really need just a space to be on campus. We're not teaching classes from school. The students can come on campus, they will be with a teacher, but they will Zoom into their own classes, right? And so that's probably what you've been hearing about. In summer, we're also actually going to have in-person programs, and we have many programs. We'll send out some information starting next week. how to sign up for some programs. But we'll be offering regular summer school credit recovery, where you can come in and make up a class. We'll be offering Edgenuity, which is our credit recovery program for students who don't feel comfortable being on campus, but still need to make up a class. We have opportunities to do work at the Fab Lab at Kennedy High School with one of our science teachers for science credits. We have an African American Leadership Institute that is also for elective credits. We have a newcomer program for students that are still are new to the country learning English. So there's tons of things going on this summer. We'll send that information out in the next couple of weeks, so keep an eye out for that. And for folks that are asking like what's going to happen your senior year in August, as of right now, our superintendent has said that we're coming back normal in person in August. So that's what we're planning for. We're planning for a normal return. There might be things like we're still wearing a mask, limiting how many kids are in the bathroom, social distancing, but it should no longer be on Zoom. It should all be in person coming back in the fall. So last slide is just, again, the counseling contact information if you want to take one last look. But we will send this information out to you and post it on the website. I'm going to stop sharing my screen just so I can see y'all, but that is the end of our presentation. I told you there was a lot. It's a lot to take in, but it's better to have this information now so that you're prepared and can plan for it in the next couple of months. We're going to stick around just to answer some questions, either that are coming up in the chat. If you want to unmute yourself, you can also ask some questions. If you didn't hear something that you had a question about, feel free to ask. We want to take this opportunity to support you in planning for your senior year. If you feel like you don't have any questions, that is the end of our presentation, and we thank you from our bottom of our heart for being here with us. We are all here to help. I see teachers here, counselors. We have our support staff, like our community workers, all the college advisors, Mr. Hatcher, Mr. Hillier, and myself. We are all here to support you. So please let us know if you have a question. If something felt overwhelming today, we want to support you as you start your senior year.